Coast Guard investigators are preparing for a new search in the Bahamas for missing Michigan mom Lynette Hooker after new GPS data appears to contradict her husband's story of the night that she vanished. The data came from Brian Hooker's electronic device and shows movement that does not line up with where he told investigators to search after Lynette vanished in April. Brian told police Lynette fell overboard from a small dinghy boat while the couple was returning to their sailboat near Aunt Pat's Bay.
Brian Hooker is in deep doo-doo. The GPS coordinates that came back shows that he basically lied. It shows that he was not telling the truth. But are we shocked? Of course we're not shocked. I'm going to give you some details about this. Plus, do you think he's going to try and run? Do you think he's going to try and run? Because I believe an arrest is going to come soon. Fugitive TV, stay tuned. Welcome to Fugitive TV. I am your host, Ray Marcel. And what we do here is we take a look at cases. We take a look at cases of missing individuals, true crime, any sort of crime case that needs a deeper look or a different perspective, okay? Because I was once a fugitive on the run from the law myself. I ran for 15 years. I lived in different countries under different names after I committed some white collar crime. Then I turned myself in. Now I run this YouTube channel. I help family members locate missing individuals. I even help them locate fugitives that have done some horrific things and need to be brought to justice because, hey, I know what it takes to vanish. I know what it takes to go on the run because I did it for so long. Well, we're talking about Lynette Hooker, okay? And she's everywhere, right? So I'm pretty sure you guys know a lot of the details what's going on. But just in case, Lynette Hooker is the woman who her husband, Brian, says that she fell off the dinghy boat, okay, in the Bahamas. They left dinner, they got on a dinghy boat, and the dinghy boat's a little boat that goes to the big boat. So they got on a dinghy boat, and on the way to the big boat, Brian said that the waters are choppy, it was storming, it was dark, and Lynette fell overboard. And when Lynette fell overboard, she took the keys with her to the engine. So he was stuck out in the water for hours and, allegedly couldn't find her. The current took her away and separated them. And then he ended up coming to shore eventually on another beach and, told everybody what happened. And then, of course, he got detained, questioned, and then they let him go. All right. And everybody was in an uproar, of course, that they let him go. Well, at that time, they didn't have enough evidence because there's no body and they didn't have enough evidence to do anything. So since then, they did raid the boat. They went and raided the boat. Coast Guard did, actually. And they took out evidence. Now, actually, Coast Guard seized the entire boat. So the boat is actually docked off outside of Fort Lauderdale. So right here in Florida, the Hooker's boat is right outside of Fort Lauderdale. Now, eventually, I believe what they're going to do is take the boat all the way out of water. They're going to take the boat out of water because the boat could be and possibly is a crime scene. So they can't have the crime scene sitting in the water because especially, the salt, everything else. So they got to take it out of the water and preserve it. All right. Pretty much almost shrink wrap the whole boat. Well, from the get-go, we all knew that the story didn't match up. Ever since Lynette Hooker's daughter came out and said that they had violence in the past and that he would threaten to throw her off the boat in the past. And then when she what really made me spark attention was when she said allegedly the Apple Watch or her watch floated onto or washed up ashore. And I'm thinking, I think watches sink. I don't think they float unless the whole watch is made out of plastic. But there's metal pieces inside the watch. I believe they float I believe they sink to the bottom. I think. So that right there is what sparked my interest on this video. And I think 2 or 3 videos on this before. All right. Like right around when this first happened. Well, since this case has started, Ashley Banfield. Shout out to Ashley Banfield. she has single-handedly pretty much got a lot of evidence, almost solved the case, except we just haven't found her yet. Almost proved that he is lying. She went out to the Bahamas where it all happened at. She got video footage of the waters that night from a surveillance camera. And to our surprise, guess what? There's no choppy waters. It was calm. There was no storm. There's surveillance footage of Brian walking down the beach by himself too. She got a lot of footage that shows Brian is possibly lying. Well, since then, see, when they raided the boat, they took evidence out the boat, right? And the boat is going to contain GPS systems and things like that. One of the things they took from Brian is, I believe, a watch that has, the GPS coordinates in it and that type of stuff. Now, he had a regular watch and then a backup watch. Some people are saying that when he went out there in a dinghy, whatever he did, he could have possibly switched and put on his backup watch and left the other watch wherever it was at. All right. Now, from the start, I said he was out there for hours. Okay. This man, I said, could have done anything. He could have got all the way back to his boat with her, so the boat could be the crime scene, and then did something with her and then, decided to come back or whatever, right? Well, it's almost looking like that. That's pretty much what it's looking like. Now, he said the area of where she went missing, okay? Because he gave us a map that he drawn up and said pretty much this is where she went missing. The issue with that was that some people that went out there were saying that the water wasn't that deep. The water was only about 12 feet deep, where he's saying where she went missing at. So they had helicopters, going over the water, looking in the water. Now, those waters, I've never been to Bahamas. I'm not even a boater. So I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not a boater. And I'm not going to pretend I'm a boater. But there's just some common sense with this case and elements, all right? So they went out there looking for Lynette, of course, and apparently the water out there is really clear blue and you can pretty much see to the bottom. So they didn't see her. Well, the GPS coordinates came back, and guess what, guys? It does not align with what Brian has said. First of all, he said the currents took them away, maybe took her this way and him this way. I always thought that was weird to begin with, to be honest with you. I thought that was weird. Because you would think they would go the same way. If she's going with the current, he's in the dinghy, the motor's not running, you think he'd be going with her. You would think, right? But hey, like I said, I'm not a boater. But the GPS coordinates came back and it shows him going in circles in a whole different area, not the same area where he claimed that she fell off the dinghy. So if you are lost in the current's not going to take you in circles unless you're in the middle of a hurricane, possibly. Okay. Hurricanes, the only thing I think of is going to take you in circles, and you're lucky to be alive for that. And there was no hurricanes that night. So what else is taking you to be in circles? So if you're going in circles, usually that means you're looking for something. So was he looking for the right spot to dump her overboard? Now, in some pictures, Lynette had it was a pink weight belt, okay? They noticed that's missing. Brian Hooker's, ex-friends, I don't know if you want to call them friends now, but Brian Hooker's friends said that there was multiple anchors aboard the ship, okay? So they're curious to see if there's any missing anchors. Okay, because if there's a missing anchor, tie her to the anchor, dump her overboard. The same thing with her weight belt. Anything he can do to put weight on her to sink her down to the bottom and make sure she doesn't come up. Okay, well, there is also reports of a spare engine. Okay, and there's reports saying maybe the spare engine could be missing because he could have tied her to that too and, dumped her overboard. She could be tied to multiple things. Now, I'm not saying he did this, but this is what, reports are saying. So when this story first came out, and I told you guys, a few minutes ago, I said when the story first came out, I said he had enough time to get to the big boat to do what he wants to do. And then came back. I think he was on for 7 to 8 hours. It was a long time. So he had enough time. So that is starting to look true. And if that is true, how many crime scenes is there? As in, if he did do something to Lynette, hit her in the head with something, unalived her in the dinghy, okay? We can't say the MURDER word here, red rum. Some YouTube channels, they'll flag and things like that, especially if you're a smaller one like mine. So we got to use other language. Sorry about that. So please subscribe. Please help my channel grow so I can take these filters off. But if he did unalive her, let's say in the dinghy, that is the first crime scene. And if he took her all the way back to the big boat, then the big boat would be the second crime scene. Okay? Or was she still alive in the dinghy and they went all the way to the big boat and he did something there? Well, Brian, like I said, was questioned. And if you've been following the story, you know he was released. He was released and he went and did some interviews. Like the very next day and the same day. Was promising, I'm going to look for my wife no matter what. You have to stop me through hell and whatever things was coming out his mouth, which sounded good, he was saying. And then a couple days after that, you don't even hear from Brian no more. Brian left, allegedly back to the States to take care of his sick mother. Allegedly, we don't know. But we haven't even heard from this man since he left. Brian's own friends haven't even heard from him. I have heard that everybody else is searching for Lynette, putting in their time, knowledge, whatever they can do, except for Brian, the man who pledged he will do whatever it takes to find his wife. Now he's nowhere to be found. Some people are wondering where he even is. So, do you think an arrest is coming soon? I do, because they seized the whole boat. If you get into trouble, all right, let's say you get into trouble and your house gets raided. You don't have to get arrested right then and there, but usually they seize your equipment, your phone, they subpoena your laptops, everything digital. They will bring it back and they will look through it. Okay. They have Quantico, FBI, Quantico. The leading intelligence headquarters in the world is in Quantico. They are dissecting his digital DNA, digital footprints. They are looking through all that. If they're going through all that, you better believe an arrest is coming, because the FBI is not going to spend all that much time on you and say, oh, no. They're going to pile up all the evidence they can and then arrest you. So he is going to be arrested. It's just a matter of when. Now, does he think he's going to be arrested? That is a better question, because Brian, he comes off to me as maybe he's better than anybody else or everybody else. Maybe he thinks he can outsmart the next person, as in why he was circling around with the GPS and gave somebody coordinates over here when he was really over here. You know what's funny? I've been doing a lot of videos lately about staging. I even talked about Nancy Guthrie, staging, making it look like it's here, but you really should look over here. It's funny that this is going on here too, except his staging, if he staged it, is not as good. We all kind of, from the start was like, yeah, this doesn't seem right. This is off. So does he know that he's probably going to get arrested soon? Here's the thing. I wonder what he's preparing to do. And what I mean by preparing, is he preparing to fight this case? Does he have lawyers lined up? Does he have bail money lined up in case they give him a bond? Does he have a story lined up in case they arrest him? Or is he packing his luggage, packing his bags, taking his passport, and basically going to say, catch me when you can? What do you think this man's going to do? Now, me personally, I wouldn't be shocked if he tried to run. You notice I said tried. Because I don't think he's going to make it far. Because if I can find him, me. I know the FBI knows where he's at. All I'm going to say about that. So, if I can find him, I know FBI knows where he is at. So I ain't got to worry about, nobody has to worry about him running, because as soon as he tries to go somewhere, oh, best believe they're on his tail. They're watching him. His name is flagged. Don't let him try and get on no plane. Don't let him try and go through no TSA or any of that. As soon as they see him leaving somewhere with a suitcase or a backpack, whoop, 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 he is getting pulled over, stopped right then and there before he gets on a bus, plane, train, whatever you want to call it, another boat, all right, and get arrested. So even if the man tried to run, they are watching him. This is what they do to you. After they raid something of yours, your house, they take your car, in his case, the boat, they have a tell on you. They're going to watch your every move after that. Oh, they're probably pinging his calls, subpoenaed his text messages, bugged his phone. Oh, I'm pretty sure. I am definitely sure. And it's not like the old days where they used to have to put an actual bug in your phone and all that. They don't do that no more. It's different now. Now it's different. Now they have a system. Let's say, for example, if you have AT&T, okay? They have a system now to where they can subpoena into AT&T, send that in. And then what happens is every call you make, how it goes to, like, AT&T, and then it goes to the other person you're talking to, what will happen is FBI will be the middleman pretty much. So instead of it going to AT&T, then other person, it will go to FBI, then AT&T, then the other person. So FBI is in between, listening to everything else you got to say. Oh, I know for a fact they got evidence on him just by doing that. The way this man was talking, he was talking a lot after it first happened. So I know for a fact. But I know I saw some people asking, do they think he's going to run? And he might try. I don't think he's going to get far. He ain't going to get far. Not going to get far. This man is not smart like that, okay? We all saw the cover up from day one. So it's not happening. And this is if he did it, if he covered it up. Sorry, guys. Allegedly. This is just my theories and thoughts, right? Entertainment purposes only. But let me know, what do you guys think? Do you think he's going to try and run? Do you think he's going to get arrested soon? And do you think they're actually going to find her body? Because if they find her body, it's game over for this man. He's done. He's cooked. Please like, subscribe, comment below. Let me know where you're watching this from. State, country, city. I try and reply to everybody that I can. Let's get to 30,000 subscribers by the end of the summer so I can try and do this full time for you guys, all right? Fugitive TV, please take care of one another, like one another, all right? Until next time, I'm out.